Hey everybody, it's me, it's Alex. Happy Sunday to you and yours. Thanks for joining me. I realize that most of you who are watching this are probably not watching this live because it's Sunday. But I was excited. I had a lot going on here with these covers and I wanted to share them with you and update you on what's going on. If you didn't hear or watch the last Facebook Live, we showed you the cover reveal for the first book in the John Pilate series. This is a series of cover refreshes we're doing on the first four, maybe more books in the series. Going with the consistent look and feel, same artist, same kind of vision. Each book cover will have a unique feel, of course, but we're going to try to make them a little more commercial and make them perhaps a little easier for people to find on Amazon in particular, where most people are buying books these days. So if you missed it last week, I'm going to just show you Jason McIntyre, who is a brilliant author, but he's also a really fantastic cover designer. He redid Pilate's Cross, as you can see here. And, you know, he took a big page, I think, from the video. We have a book trailer that's very cinematic, like a movie trailer that we did years ago, 10 years ago, as a matter of fact, when the book first came out. And he took a lot of elements from that video and integrated them into the cover here, which I just love. He did a great job. So the other thing too is that Jason, and by the way, he also did the audiobook version too, because Pilate's Cross is the only book in the John Pilate mystery series of all 6 books or whatever. It's the only one that has an audio version. John Edmondson reads it. It's very nice. It's available on audible.com. Don't know if we'll do any more audiobooks in the future. We've kind of put that on the back burner. It's just a whole other Megillah. But so anyway, I like working with Jason. We have a great relationship. We've got it down pat on how we'll interact and how we do things. And so it's really been nice to work with Jason on some of these things. And I'm just enjoying the fact that he gets, what I want to do, and he has great suggestions. And the other thing too that he's done that's really great with all the books is he's made it where the interiors are much cleaner, easier to read for the paperbacks. These all will have new ebooks, obviously too. We've upgraded the ebooks, we've fixed some mistakes, tweaked some things here and there. But on the, as you can see behind me, on some of these titles that he's done behind me back here, he's also redone the interior, so it looks a lot crisper, a lot cleaner. I think you'll agree once you see the book. By the way, if you heard a ding, I'm sorry, that's somebody dinging me. Anyway. So before we reveal the new Pilate's Key cover, I thought, well, hey, let's look at the old one. There's a little version of it. And here's a big version of it. This was the paperback. It was published by Lulu, cover art by a different artist he's a very talented artist. Nothing against what he did. It's great. And this is my favorite of all the covers he did, just about. This is for Pilate's Key. So he did a great job, but the publisher at the time, I didn't think was fantastic I don't think we did a fantastic job on the covers as far as making them consistent and clean and all that. But they're all right. I don't want to downmouth them just because I have something new. That's not what this is about. But I just think that I just thought there was something more that could be done. And we got in a situation where, we had the initial cover for Pilate's Cross, the first book. This is the one, which is really cool too. I love it. It's very Hitchcockian, and I love the way he did that. But there's not a lot of cohesion. You can't really tell it's a series. It's just, and that's okay because at the time we didn't know it'd be a series. Heck, I thought I was going to write 1 and be done. And then I wrote Key and I was like, oh, that's great, but I can't just do 2. I have to do 3. So I thought I'll do 3. And so then he did this really fabulous cover for Pilate's Ghost, the 3rd book, which was a Kickstarter book, by the way. It's got some nice detail on it, but it's so hard to read on Amazon.com, where, as I said earlier, everybody's buying their books. So 2012, Pilate's Key comes out. Pilate's Cross was a nice start. It's a nice debut. I'm proud of it. But Pilate's Key comes out, and just a whole new dimension with the series starts. People are like really glomming on. Great new character. Taters Malley shows up, the boat captain. And I mean, that book just really kicked into gear. And it's when I first started thinking, this really could be a series. This could be a lot of fun. And so anyway, here we are 10 years in. There's a lot of 10-year anniversary things going on in 2019, and I'll talk more about that after we do the reveal. And we've got a few people watching, and I know you watched to see the new cover. I'm going to let the cover speak for itself. Just bear in mind, old cover, which I thought was very sexy and cool, and it caught the flavor of the book and all that really well. But again, with our aim to go more commercial and to get more eyeballs looking at the series, Jason and I came up with, voila! Now, I'll let you just let that soak in for a little bit. Obviously, this takes place in the Florida Keys in the Caribbean, and it's probably the sexiest book in a lot of ways. There's a lot of sex in it. There's a lot of it's just a fun book, and we wanted something that would titillate a little bit because am I in the right way? Because the book is a little bit of a titillation, and we wanted, no lie, we wanted to attract people to it and go, oh wow, there is a very attractive lady in a bikini, a string bikini on the beach. Is she alive or dead? We don't know, but that's not the point. The point is just, did it catch your eye? You've still got the birds integrated in here. You've got the ocean. You've got all these lovely things, and I just think that it works so well with the aesthetic that Jason and I are trying to establish here for the series. You'll notice here at the bottom below our lovely lady, everything's branded. The John Pilate Mystery Series, Book 2, like the first one, as you saw, same thing, Book 1. People need to understand it's a series. You can read it out of order, although it's better, to be honest, to be reading it in order so people can easily see this now. They can go, oh, well, that's Book 2. That looks great. I'll buy that, but I need to read Book 1 first, and etc. So this is it. It is now available right now on Amazon.com, and I'm going to pull this up for you. Let me close this out here. And now I'm going to bring this up. All right. There it is on Amazon.com. And I wanted to say a couple of things to you about this. So if you're looking, you want to buy it. I'm hoping that if you're a diehard fan, you're going to want this whole thing for your shelf. You may not, but just hang on to the one you do have, the old version then, because it's a collector's item now. You're not going to be able to get those for much longer. So it's on the Kindle edition, you'll see here. You click on that same page, and right now the paperback is still linked to the old version of the paperback, and that's the way it's going to be for a little while. I'm going to have them de-link this, and they're going to be put together, because when you look at Pilate's Cross, so we got the Kindle version here, the audiobook here, on the same, you click there and it goes there, and then the paperback, it goes here, and it goes to the new version. I'm getting ready to have them link that. You can still find the old version floating out there, but it will go away. I want to draw your attention to one thing when you're looking at this and Pilate's Key. This will be linked eventually to the Kindle. When they do this, I had 22 reviews. They took away a huge chunk of my reviews, and don't even get me started on why Amazon does that crap. They start saying these are not real. They start saying that it's, an improper relationship or whatever. I mean, they didn't say anything to me like these are bad people. They just pulled them. So if you like this book and you haven't reviewed it, or you go back and you look and you see that your review is gone, do me a favor. And it'd be great to wipe out this 1-star review from this person who didn't like bad language. All right. But back to Pilate's Key. 35 customer reviews, and you can see here it's done very, very well. I anticipate when I link these up, I'm going to lose some reviews. So please keep an eye on that. And even if you don't buy a new copy, it'd be great if your review gets bounced that you do another one. Sometimes it's something as anodyne as we've somehow communicated across social media, and then they pull the review. It's like, well, gee, that's how I meet new readers, is social media primarily. What am I supposed to do, ignore you? Anyway, okay. So it's there. It's exclusive to Amazon.com. I bit the bullet. We were selling virtually no books anywhere else, so this is an Amazon exclusive book. All right, so let's go back down here. Here, we'll just go here. So back to it. This is Pilate's Key, and I'm very proud of it. And I think if you look at side by side with the Pilate's Cross, you can see that just how well these are all integrating. I'm getting a comment from somebody here, Jason, saying, "Oh, sadly, if a reviewer's review is removed from Amazon, they can enter a second replacement review, but Amazon will most likely not display it." Well, can we try? Let's try it. Okay. All right. So we're back to Pilate's Key. And by the way, Jason's done some other wonderful work for me too. I don't know if you may remember that we finished my grandpa's last book, and Jason did this wonderful big cabin cover here as well. So if you haven't bought Big Cabin, Robert E. Trevathan with yours truly, he did that one as well. Okay, so what's ahead? I don't want to keep you. It's your Sunday. It's 12:14 already. I want to get you out of here real quick, but next up is Pilate's Ghost. And I know for a fact that one of my dear friends, one of my best readers, he's done a podcast episode with me or two, and Michael, he likes this one. And I agree with you. I like it artistically. I just need to move it along commercially a little bit and see what happens. So this one's going to go. So hang on to this copy. Same thing. You'll probably see this by next weekend. We're moving really quickly. We've been working on this for a long time. We're just now starting to do the rollouts. So just pay attention to that. What's after that? Pilate's Blood. Now, this one was done by a different artist altogether. These first three were done by one artist. Uh-oh, I'm getting a frowny face. Okay. Sorry, Michael. Pilate's Blood was done by another artist, and she did a great job with that, with what I gave her. I wanted to capture that small town feel, and since Pilate's Blood is an homage to the Western genre a little bit, I was looking for more of a Justified kind of vibe. We just didn't quite get there. Not saying it's going to necessarily be that vibe when Jason gets done with it, but I mean, the way this works is pretty simple. I say, okay, this is what I want, and this is what I want to convey, and the artist has to then go, well, that's great. Let's see if we can do that without it looking ridiculous or larding it up too much. So that's kind of where we're going to be. Also, we are probably going to make some minor changes in the thing. We're going to lose the tagline that my editor, Robert, hates, thicker than water, twice as deadly. I always thought it was a funny tagline, but he does not like it. So that'll be coming up soon. And Jason did Pilate 7. Now, this is kind of actually a promotional version of the cover, but more or less he did. It's not the exact cover for Pilate 7. In fact, I can... let's see here. I can show you Pilate 7 here. Jason did this one. And this, by the way, is one of my most critically acclaimed books. And it's the 7 short stories. And it's a great cover. I like it. But Jason and I both agree that maybe we want to enhance it a little bit, make it a little easier to read, particularly on Amazon.com's page. Because if you look at Amazon.com, right, I mean, here. We'll switch to this here. But if you look at Amazon.com, I mean, this is large here, but consider this, if you're just looking in general, they're about this big. They're like little postage stamp size. And you can see here where Pilate 7, we've got to enhance that a little bit. And you can see where Pilate's Ghost, I guess you can read that, but you don't get all of the nuance, the skull, the bloody fingerprints, the word a novel, my name is unreadable. And Pilate's Blood actually doesn't look so great either, but I think these others come across a lot better. This one is sure to, I think, be a favorite. So, where am I doing here? I'm getting better at this, believe it or not. Let's see here. All right. Let me come back. Am I here? Where am I? There's me. Okay, so we're going to do a little enhancement on 7 as well. That's coming. That's not a major overhaul or anything like that. It'll be very similar. So that's where we are with those covers. I think I got a couple more little notes for you real quick. And if you got to go, come back later and watch it again. I understand. I was just going to finish up and say, of course, Jason did Pilate's Rose. Now this is not the cover. There's the cover laying on a desk. This is an advertising thing he did for me that I love. But Jason also did Pilate's Rose. And this was I mean, if you've read Rose, you know there's a big explosion out in the water, right? I mean, we made it pretty simple. And Jason rebuffed all of my attempts to get a skull in there. A skull in those flames. He wouldn't hear of it. It just wasn't going to happen as far as he was concerned. But yeah, so Jason did that, and as I mentioned, he also did Big Cabin. And so what's coming up next? Okay, so we've already been through all the things that we've worked on, but just a recap. We got Cross done. It's beautiful. Key is now done. It's beautiful. Next up is going to be Ghost. Then after that will be Blood. Then we'll do a little tweak on Pilot 7. Not messing with the manuscript inside at all. I'm not going in there. I mean, I might look it over, but there's nothing really to fix there, I don't think. Of course, Rose will stay the same. Big Cabin's still for sale. I'd love it if you buy it. It's great for your Western lovers. And it's also a love letter, basically, from me to my grandpa. Okay, so a couple other things while I got you. I wanted to tell you real quick. Let me go back to me here. Okay. I want to tell you, if you heard of my last Facebook Live, pardon me while I drink something sparkling. This is not a silver bullet. In my last Facebook Live, I talked about the Omnibus Edition. If you're a true John Pilate completist, you've got them all and you love them. What we're doing, 10th anniversary of the series, we're doing a fun thing. We are creating a paperback-only 2-volume Omnibus Edition. Title to come there, but we're talking 2 more books, and what it'll be all these previous novels cut up into 2 different versions of 2 volumes. We'll pack them all in there, and each volume will have 2 different covers. It'll be one title. It'll be blank, 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 whatever, volume 1 and volume 2, but there'll be 2 different covers by Jason, and there will also be a brand new John Pilate mystery adventure to go along with it. How long will it be? I don't know. It won't be a tiny short story. Don't worry. I'm not going to just kind of do a 3-page short story and say, ha, thank you. And this is by no means an attempt just to get you, I don't want you just to feel like, oh gosh, he's just repackaging something and that's all it is. I hate it. Like, you always hear about these remastered versions of albums that you loved or whatever, and then you get it and you can't hear the difference. Well, the difference about this is, though, that all of these are going to be, there's new, and the interior is going to be all matched. You're going to see, they're going to be the most clean versions of all these books that we have. As I said, it'll be a new title, volume 1 and 2, with 2 new covers, 1 for each new version. It'll be an Amazon.com exclusive. There will not be an ebook version of this. The only way you'll be able to read the John Pilate story that's in this Omnibus Edition is to buy the Omnibus Edition. It'll probably be in volume 2. And it will pick up where Pilate's Rose left off. That's what I can tell you right now. Oh, and I can also tell you that it should be available on Halloween. That's the plan. It seems to be. We're on track. Actually, I'm not worried about Jason getting his shiz done. It's me. I got to finish writing the story and getting it edited. I got to call my editor and say, oh, by the way, do you have some time to do a new story for me? Shoot, I should work on that. So I am working on that. There's just a lot going on. It's for 10 years. I can't believe it's gone this far. And, obviously I don't get rich doing this, but I love it. And I love all you guys for reading it. So I just wanted to offer that as a gift to you, the Omnibus Edition. I will sell autographed versions of it, of course. Now, I got a question about this last time was, okay, well, let's say I don't buy the Omnibus, but I still want to read the new John Pilate adventure. I will make that available as an ebook, but it will not be until after the new year. So it won't be available until 2020. I'm trying to sell these starting in Halloween so you can buy them for Christmas presents or as a Christmas present to yourself, just these 2 volumes for the Omnibus Edition. The new John Pilate story I'll put out as a new John Pilate title, but not until the new year. So if you want to know what's going to happen to John, what's going on next after this, after Rose, you got to get the Omnibus. All right, so there's that. Reminders, and I want to make sure I don't have any questions here. Hey, there's some people. Hey, James. Man, it's Jason, James, Lisa, Brandon. Oh, my God, everybody. So nice to see you all. Oh, man, there's the skull. Thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. James Sudik. Hey, everybody. Pilate's Ghost. That was real quick. I got to go back. Just a quick story. Pilate's Ghost was a Kickstarter project. I wanted to, as a communications professional, and I wanted to see how crowdfunding worked. And I thought, and at the time, it was much more expensive to produce these books, and I was always losing money on doing this. Amazon is making it a lot more cost effective. Now it's just paying my editor, paying my artist, paying myself. But at the time, it was so expensive to put out these books, Cross and Key. Cross, I lost money on, I think, and Key actually did better than break even. It was doing really well. But when I was looking down the barrel of doing Ghost, and I was like, golly. So I did a Kickstarter. And there's links to that all over the place. But if you're real interested, I can post a link sometime. You can still look at the Kickstarter page. And this is funny. This just reminded me. James reminded me of this. Hi, Terry. Terry's on board. Hi, Terry, my dear friend. Great writer herself. So James is part of this deal. Part of the deal is one of the Kickstarter premiums was pay X amount and you can name a character in the story. Speaking of stories. And if you're reading Pilate's Ghost, you'll come across a young EMT in training named Story Sudik. It's James's daughter. And he also, James, I'm embarrassing you, I know. He also gave me some good pointers on how emergency personnel, first responders talk. And he let me know if it was a couple of occasions. He let me know if it was something stupid. I asked him a couple of questions if I was going to look really stupid. My older brother's a firefighter, but he's not an EMT, and there's a difference. And anyway, so Story's in there, and Story pops up again in Further Adventures, or she's mentioned at least. But James, thank you. Hey, buddy, thank you for doing that. We're just going to get a tune-up on this investment of yours. All right, so where was I? Okay, I tend to ramble, and I promised I'd be done by 12:30. I promised myself. I'm hungry. I haven't eaten. All right. So we've been through all the stuff working on. So let me just shift you back. Have you listened to Mysterious Goings On? Have you listened to the podcast? If you're a podcast listener, this is something that I'm going to be the first to tell you. I've done 35 episodes. I'm going to be the first to tell you I've been inconsistent with, but I've made a New Year's resolution to do one a month minimum, hopefully two. And what we do on the Mysterious Goings On podcast is we interview other creative folks, writers, musicians, actors, artists, and we also I get on there and just talk at you about what's on my mind, or tell you what's going on with the John Pilate Mystery Series, or just an opinion about something. It's on Apple Podcasts. It's free. You could subscribe. We've been doing it since 2016. I'm trying to pick it up here and, like I say, and do more. And whoa, hey, did I do that? Whoa, I didn't know I could do that. Am I making this thing? All right. I better stop that. I think I'm going to make myself sick. Mysterious Goings On. There it is. Mysterious Goings On, though. Apple Podcasts. It's available on Stitcher and wherever else you might find podcasts. But just go to iTunes or Apple Podcasts and put that in there and give it a listen if you would. I'm really proud of, there's one I did, Chapter 32, Writing, Editing in Prison. And that's where I interviewed somebody very near and dear about his experiences of robbing banks and going to prison. If you haven't heard that one yet, I encourage you to listen to that one. The most recent one is The Eulogist, and it's just basic tips about if you have to give a eulogy, writing and performing. And it is a performance of a eulogy. And also there's an audio of a eulogy I gave a few weeks ago. And then there's all sorts of stuff. So I just want to tune you into that. If you're not paying attention to the podcast, I wish you would subscribe and please review it. Just like on all the books, please review it. It helps me, get further up. Don't forget, you can find me on Twitter at @A_Greenwood. Facebook, you know where it is. That's how you're watching this, John Pilate Mysteries. And on Goodreads, J. Alexander Greenwood. If you're not following me there, let's be buddies there. I really appreciate that. And don't forget to review the books on Goodreads too. Let's see here. What was the other thing? I got you social media. Okay, this is off color. I stole this from Michael Zuffa. Yeah, that's what you should be doing, folks. Okay, that's a little off color. I'll put that away. But do it, please. All right, so just to wrap up, and I realize that some people might look at that cover and have some issues with it. This is not intended to be any kind of political or social statement other than eye-catching. It's directly related to the book. This is the kind of aesthetic. This is the book, what it is. So, I hope if anybody sees it and is offended that you'll, understand where it's coming from here. It's part of the aesthetic that Jason and I are developing for the series. And as I showed you, he's done some tremendous work. Really proud of it. I cannot wait for you to see. And Michael, I know you're not happy, and I don't know if it'll meet your standards, Michael, but wait till you see what he does with Pilate's Ghost. It's, to me, it just is spooky to me. And that's Pilate's Ghost is a spooky book in my opinion. So, all right. I'm going to look here real quick, see if anybody has any questions before we go. Let me just look here. Yes, Jason McIntyre, her name is Story, and that is beautiful. I love that. That is, if writers, Jason, we should have thought of that. See, James, he's got it going on. We talked about reviews. Yes, Michael Zuffa is watching you. Yes, he is. All right. Well, clock on the wall says we got about less than a minute, so I will just bring my mug back on here for a second and just tell you, hello, it's me. And just tell you, thanks so much for watching this, but more importantly, thanks for encouraging me to write. I feel so much better. I've had a rough year or so, health-wise, a lot of other things. I won't bore you with it today. It'll probably come out in the writing somehow, because word has it John Pilate and I have some similarities, some. But I feel energized. I feel better. I feel creative. These covers are really encouraging me to move, and the very fact that you showed up today is a huge part of that. Oh, and Lisa, thank you. She says they look great. Jason, did you see that? Lisa likes them. Hey, if I can do anything for you, if you're a creative person and you need some encouragement, let me know. Here on this page is fine, on the Facebook page. Happy to help if I can. I want to encourage other people. You know, the payoff for me on this obviously is not money. It's in the relationships I've dealt with people and telling stories. And I love telling stories, even to people who aren't named Story. And that's a huge thing for me. And last thing I forgot to mention, we do have this website, pilatescross.com. It's the Mysterious Goings On homepage. And you can there's our blog, and there's merchandise. You can order autographed books there. But anyway, okay, I just had to remind myself of that. And now, inelegantly, I will come back and say, much love to you all. Have a wonderful Sunday. Have a wonderful week. I don't know if we'll do a live cover reveal of Ghost or not. We might, because I like having these videos resting here on the site where people can go look at any time. So we might do a brief cover reveal next week when the Ghost copy is ready. I don't generally do these until it's live and ready to go. But I'll just stay tuned here and you'll find out more. So I think, great, real quick question. Brandon wants to know, and Brandon, that is a great question. Will John Pilate do an OCR? It's an obstacle course race in any of his books. Funny you should mention that. Stay tuned. You're going to see some stuff. It's going to be different. It's really going to be good. Hey, much love to you all. Make it a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. All right. Farewell. Oh, and as I always say, keep reading.